I am congested as all get out right now.
Welcome to the side table.
And no, we're talking about how congested my nose is. It's
Nobody
awful.
cares.
I care. I care.
Don't worry, I care too.
Oh, thank you, Joshua. Yes, welcome to the side table, episode something.
28.
It's 28. Really? It's not 30?
No,
Oh, why not?
because there were only 27 other episodes before this one.
Well, shoot. We are just announcement for the whoever listens, um, you listener. We are on Spotify. I haven't checked if we're now on iTunes again. Maybe we are.
It's
Hopefully.
iTunes. It'll probably take a week or two.
Yeah. And same thing with Google Play. Google Play at least told me that it was going to be a couple weeks. iTunes just said check back whenever.
We'll
So,
get to you eventually when we have time.
yeah. So there's that. But yeah, no, we're more easily accessible. So I hope someone is listening to this through one of those outlets.
I just recently, had Ashley resubscribed to Spotify Premium. She had dropped it for a bit, and I was driving home the other day, and I wanted to listen to the La La Land album, and so I'm trying to like queue it up on Spotify free, and it's like,
Jack.
just shuffle play it. I'm like, all right, I can deal with that. And then the first song ends, and I get four of the same ad in a row
Yep.
between
And,
two songs.
uh-huh. And is it okay, so when you shuffled the album, is it because when I didn't have premium, what would happen if I shuffled something like that? Is it would play another song that was similar, not in the
I've
same.
had that problem. I didn't have that problem this time, but every time before that, when I would try to shuffle play something, it'd be like, here's one song from that album, and then here are a bunch of similar songs and no more from that album that you wanted to listen to.
Yeah, that's frustrating.
It is.
Yeah, Spotify Premium. If you listen to music at least for like at all, it's something I think you need for sure. It's especially when you're like driving back and forth like you are.
Yeah, unless you just have like your own library of music and like discs that you've ripped or whatever. But yeah, the Google Play Music is all right too, but it's not nearly as nice.
No, Spotify has a pretty patent center, I think.
Oh yeah,
Have you been listening to anything else?
not much. In the mornings, I don't usually listen to music, and then occasionally I'll listen to something on the way back home. Had some dude whip by a bunch of us on the highway on the right hand shoulder of the road.
Oh wow.
The speed limit there was like 75. I'm doing like 80 some, low 80s with a couple of other people passing in the left hand lane, and this guy just blows by us on the right hand shoulder.
Uh-huh.
It's easily doing like 90, 95 plus. I'm like, what? It's so important.
Uh-huh. Obviously, I don't know. I don't have something witty to say.
I don't either. My thought is maybe you really have to go to the bathroom, but in that case, soil yourself
Yeah, right.
versus potentially hitting and killing somebody.
I remember when I was younger and my mom for my birthday was taking me to the mall in Grand Rapids, and we were driving and some guy on a motorcycle through congested traffic is just like snaking his way through everything at like 20, 30 miles per hour faster than everyone else.
I can't remember if weaving is legal in Michigan or not.
I don't either. I didn't realize there was a technical term for it.
I think that's what they call it. I know in a lot of states it is legal for cyclists to weave in and out of traffic like that.
Really?
Yeah, but man, that's just like, I feel like it's just setting yourself up for more accidents.
Oh, for sure. I, like, yeah, the cyclist is taking that responsibility on themselves. But what if they end up fucking up and then hitting another car, and then that car ends up killing the people? But it's all legal, but then that driver has to deal with.
That
I killed a
emotional
man.
trauma.
Yeah, like
I don't know.
Even
I can understand it in gridlock traffic,
uh
but not at highway speeds.
no. Yeah, I that shit's too scary for me. I wouldn't want to do that for sure. Speaking of that, I just added this to our list of topics. I know you don't go on Facebook at all, but I do every day to post videos for the schools that I'm like part of. So the videos of like story times that I do and that can get shared. And every so often, it's like probably every week or so, I keep getting, and it's just one individual, and you know him, but I won't say the name. Uh, Keep sending me a fitness group request, like join my fitness group, and I'm just like, dude, no, that's not my life. I'm not about that. I don't like working out in front of other people.
Is it like a legit like group request, or is this one of those cases where somebody's given permission to an application on Facebook and the application's sending out requests?
Oh, I think it's a legit group because this individual I know has started their own fitness thing.
Okay.
But I mean, I don't know if it's he has automatic, uh, you
Like
know,
invites that get shot out.
yeah, that get sent out or not. But no, it's like every week, and I don't know. I don't like working out. I don't know, it's just weird. Fitness
Oh,
group, like I don't know. I don't know.
in the vein of getting on unsolicited invites, I got the weirdest spam email the other day.
Was it hot?
No, at least I'm like
Oh,
99% sure it's spam.
okay. What was it?
So it's from this company called Green Envelope, and basically it was a wedding invite,
Oh,
but for two people I don't know,
uh
and
huh,
it even has their picture in here and like a whole little thing about their wedding invite, and it's like what?
uh huh.
And like Google didn't catch it as a spam email either. So like went straight to my inbox, and I'm looking at this. I'm like, do I know somebody by these names?
Uh huh. Did you look
I
it up? Did you
well,
look up the
I looked up the website that sent it, and they're a legit website that sends out electronic, you know,
things?
invites and cards.
Uh huh.
But it's just the weirdest thing.
Oh, I would ask for the people's names, but
Well, there's no last name included.
oh, it's just first name.
Yeah, so it's Jack and Caroline,
Oh,
and it had a picture in there too. I should have reversed image searched the picture to see if it was
a thing.
right. I was just like, what?
Yeah, that is weird. That is really strange. Thankfully, I haven't had anything like that. I don't like managing my email.
It probably looks like your phone with like 17 unread messages.
I have you know that my phone
It
right
does.
now just has a camera alert saying recording podcast right now.
Really?
Yeah,
That's
I
impressive.
yeah. Um, but my email though, my only email inbox that is nice and clean is my work email, which is
I
I
would hope
guess
so.
the only thing that matters because
Note to everyone, if you want to get a hold of Patrick, do not send him an email. It will
I
get
mean
lost.
I there has been times when like Ashley sent me an email about like the Call of Cthulhu thing we're doing tomorrow, and I don't get like there's some emails I don't get alerted anymore.
Google's figured out you don't look at it anyway, and they're like, yeah, we're not going to waste his time.
Yeah, like I didn't. She's like, yeah, I sent it already, and I'm like, oh, I didn't get a notification because I don't like watch my email, like a hawk all live long day. But
What if you get something important?
again, usually it notifies me, but God forbid now. I don't know. Uh, yeah, and I have like Oh my God. And then earlier this week when we tried to set up Torchlight 2 and talking about emails now, uh,
Did you
I
ever
don't,
manage to get that sorted?
no, I never got an email from
Super.
them. Yeah, like I've checked spam email. I've checked all my emails that I have access to, and I have no idea why it's not showing. Oh, yeah, it's not showing up because they're out of business. That's why.
Right, right.
But no, I never sent a request because I said fuck it.
That's probably for the best. Just
Yeah,
don't even worry about it.
yeah. Um, but a lot of the emails, I don't know why my one YouTube email has all these Reddit alerts. Oh, because I made a Pillow Talk Reddit. That's right. That was a while ago. Oh, you can turn on notifications for only my high priority emails.
Yeah,
Cool.
but it's deciding what's high priority on its own.
See, I mean, I've already
Yeah.
sold my soul to Google.
Well, no, obviously you have a Google email. They're reading it all. It was more of a something might be high priority to you that it doesn't think is, and then you
Oh,
never get a
gotcha.
notification.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, we'll find out now.
While we're on the topic of phones,
Did you get a new one?
well, yes, but wait, there's more.
Ooh, you got two new ones.
Oh, I wish. No, so I ended up ordering a
iPhone.
yes, no. I ended up ordering what I was looking at was the Pixel 3a, but that's not important. So it shows up yesterday, and I'm like, cool, gonna set this up, put my SIM card in. This SIM card is not supported.
Oh shit.
So I look at the label the reseller has on the back, and I specifically purchased an unlocked phone so I could use it on any carrier. Not that I like haven't switched carriers in forever, but it's just easier that way.
Uh huh.
And right on the back it says Sprint. And so I look up the model number, and sure enough, it's the Sprint variant. And right, so I'm like, well, that's super.
Uh huh. Now you have to send it back and deal with all that garbage.
Yeah, I emailed them. They got back. They're like, yep, here's a prepaid label. Send it back to us. And then 2 to 3 days after we get it, we'll send it back to you. And I'm like, that's cool.
Now I gotta
That
go
means
to the,
like 2 more weeks.
Yep. Gotta go to the postal service now.
I can have them, you can ask them to pick it up from your mailbox.
Oh, okay. That's good.
Yeah, so I don't actually have to leave the house to do any of it. And it's just a minor inconvenience.
That's funny you brought up the postal service because I was talking with my grandpa about the postal service, and we were talking about how archaic it is, how you're just letting, like, people still send out their bills that way, like
Yeah.
checks and that, and you're putting your bank account information and that into some random person's hands.
It's
and
not
you're
even just one person's random
Yeah.
hands. It's this whole string of dozens of people who have
Yep.
physical access to it.
and you're relying on them to take your mail somewhere, yet they refuse to pay bills on that online because of the man.
I know. It's like the post office is the man.
Yeah, and if you lose a check, you're SOL. You don't know what, and then you got to pay to stop it and redo another check and then rely on it. It's it's a faulty system for sure, and then the people who rely on it are quite goofy. They're a little goofy men.
I think a lot of that is just what they're familiar with and know. And
Oh, for
the
sure.
internet's a big foreign scary thing.
Um, you know, it's getting to the point where that's no longer an excuse.
Oh, no, it's never been an excuse,
it's,
but that
if-
is, I think, the mindset.
if my grandpa can figure out how to get his tabs, order new tabs online by himself, anyone can figure out how to work bill pay. Like, you could even go to your financial institution and they will set it up for you. Like, you literally don't have to do anything.
Right, you don't even have to use a computer.
No, and Just yeah, no. There's just certain people that just refuse to learn because they think they've achieved what they wanted in life, and you can always grow and learn, people. That's my lesson. My lesson for today.
Handing out lessons and recommendations. We're not even at the end yet.
I know. I just I had to drop that little tidbit. Um, anyway, Joshua, what do you think right now? We'll talk lightly on. We'll be topical for a hot minute. What do you think about the continued protests in Lansing right now?
I think the people who are protesting need to go home, and they can do their protesting from behind their computer.
Uh huh.
You know, you're allowed to have your right to protest and all that, but there is a stay-at-home order for a reason, because we are currently in the midst of a pandemic where we're up to like what 70,000 people have died in the states in the last 2 months from it.
Joshua, you didn't know that COVID
It's just
19
the
is
flu,
not
man.
real. It's not real. It's yeah. No, it's fed by the government to control us and fearmonger.
My favorite argument that has aged very poorly is more people died from the flu last year, which was true in March. I believe now about
That has
double
happened.
the number of deaths from the entire last season of flu in the last 2 months.
I um I'm I'm going to refrain from going on a rant again.
That's probably good. You should have
Uh,
seen your audio waves in the last episode.
I
It was
saw them
just
while I
like
was
peaked.
yeah, while I was yelling, and I was very ashamed that I let myself crack like that.
It's good to vent once in a while.
Yeah, not in a podcast, but so I apologize, but not because those are my feelings and I should validate them. But um, no, I saw that video I sent you, and it was that one lady just like standing on the front of the steps, just saying, to open the state back up, and then just going back to what I've said before is just. Again, like you said, it's a pandemic, what's going on, and it's to protect people's lives, not your ego. And just the fact that all these people decide to gather in large groups, um, not
Without
wearing masks
not wearing
or
masks, not
protection.
distancing.
And Sarah told me that like the leader of the protest ended up being positive for COVID-19. So
I guarantee you most of the people who have showed up to those massive groups are,
like
whether or not they have symptoms.
I
They're just spreading it amongst themselves.
I just yeah, it's just you're stupid. I mean, come on. Like let's think for a minute. I mean, you probably have families and you're bringing that back to your families. You're just
Right? It's one thing if it just affected the people who were out and disregarding the health advisories, but it extends beyond that.
yeah. No, I it's frustrating to watch, and you brought up Wisconsin ended theirs, and it's funny because I think like the following day
It wasn't even
I
the following day. Sorry,
oh
go
no.
ahead.
The following day, I spoke after you mentioned that. I spoke with my cousins who live in Wisconsin,
Oh yeah, I forgot they
and
were over there.
yeah, and they share a very similar mindset with me. They're way more educated and uh, better in expressing them. So I asked them, what their thoughts about that were, and where they live in Madison, which is I don't know if it's like I think it's the biggest city in
It's one of the bigger ones.
yeah that or Milwaukee. I don't really know Wisconsin wise, but uh, they the Madison is still on lockdown. Like now the cities are in separate lockdowns.
Right, not even like 4 hours after the state Supreme
S-
Court overturned the
Yeah,
lockdown, all of the local municipalities instigated their own. So these
yes,
places opened and then immediately closed back down.
yeah, and it's just like, what's the point at that, And yeah, no, they're it was just well, it was nice to talk to them. I've been like reconnecting with a lot of well, not reconnecting, but this week I've spoken to a lot of family members, like a lot, like seven. How nuts is that?
It's a
Not
lot of
even,
family members.
well, it's not even, it wasn't even like my, immediate family. It was
Right, more extended.
cause yeah. But no, I that was just funny how you mentioned that after I sent you that link, and then I spoke with them in Wisconsin. I was asking how it was, and they were pretty pissed when the state opened for elections
Yeah. Yeah,
to
Wisconsin's been a great
do that.
example of what not to do.
Yeah, um, and they're quite furious. But my aunt over there, she's a nurse, and she shout out to her. If you see Julie Larson at I think they live in Appleton still. My aunt and uncle.
Hmm.
Shout out to her. Any chance she gets, she's been volunteering in like ICU and intensive care. That's the same thing, but like she has been volunteering her time and going out of her way to help people who are struggling at the hospitals and that. So shout out to her. Uh, that's really fucking cool of you to do that, and I hope you're safe in that. But outside of that we're leaving Wisconsin now and coming back. I also, changing topics again. I was catching up on some stuff that I've been putting off for a while. I finally redeemed probably like 70 Pokemon TCG codes
Oh, for the online.
earlier this week, and I pulled some crazy stuff.
I swear you always pull better cards in the online.
Oh, for sure. Uh, I wanted to mention that because the stack was probably half an inch thick, and my webcam. I didn't try it on my laptop, but my webcam on my computer wasn't working, so I had to like manually enter everything.
Oh, you should have just sat down at your laptop to use the webcam.
I
It would
know,
have saved you so much time.
I know, but I was also like watching like a let's play that
Oh, okay, so it was
I
just kind
was
of a relaxing.
yeah, so I was just kind of like I'll just deal with it this way because
I'm
kind
here
of
anyway.
yeah. But no, I pulled some really good stuff, and I haven't played with it since then or made anything. But pulling all of it, I'm like, oh, this really, because there's a new set coming out, and I just got on like that high again.
Rush.
Yeah, of like, oh, I can, oh my god, and I pulled a couple dupes of some GXs so I can start a solid.
Actually have a deck based in them.
Yeah, but yesterday, um, the reason why I wasn't replying to your text late at night was Sarah and I were playing with my cube, and
Not a sex thing.
not a sex thing.
I figured you were doing something. I wasn't that worried about it.
The cube thing is only sexual now because of Ashley. For anyone listening, that's from a show she watched or podcast she listened to.
I can't remember. I'm
I
going to
think
guess
it
a
was
podcast.
I
That's where
think
my money's on.
So it was really so. What we're getting at is Ashley's a dirty individual,
Yep.
and yeah, and
Some might say she's a pervert.
yeah, some might, but it came out of your mouth, not me.
It comes out of my mouth all the time.
And we played. For those of you who don't know what a cube is, anything, I think it can apply to any TCG trading card game where someone has amassed in their collection a set amount of cards, basically made like their own kind of expansion or meta for the game, and you basically play how you would play a pre-release deck. You get X amount of packs, quote unquote, and then take a card from the pack, pass it along, and then you form a deck out of a 60 card deck out of all the cards you pulled, and it got really intense because pulled I pulled pretty well, but when we started, I was drawing the first round. I just was not drawing well at all, and I was slowly towards the end like ramping up. Like if I would have, I don't remember what would happen, but I could have taken that round in like a turn or two. Like I needed a couple extra turns because I just started so bad. But the second match was pretty even, but then I just kind of bulldozed her. And then the third match, I crushed her as well. But it was they were
It was an
taking.
intense victory.
Yeah, it was. They took its time because you have to rely on. Again, it's depending on the cube that the person made, and in my case, I wanted to use a lot of cards that don't get used. So you have there's like,
You and you're playing your unwanted tiers.
oh yeah, it's
You gotta
like,
play your never used and your rarely used.
oh, I know. There's just so many things that are never used, like ever, like that people won't use because it's not like the best. It's not popular.
It's not the
Maybe,
meta.
yeah, I know, and maybe that's why I just like relate to, I guess, not being the best or something. I don't know, and so there's a lot of like triple evolutions, like well, two stages, not triple evolutions, I should say. Like you evolve, twice, or there's limited GXs, or the GXs that are there are specific, or it's just but with the cube, I think my cube right now is pretty it's pretty I think it's pretty balanced for the most part. It's definitely more fun though when you're playing with more people, for sure.
Yeah, the time we did play all four of us with the cube was a blast.
It was really fun, and I don't know if I think I changed it before the last time we played, so I think you've played with the my current cube setup at the moment.
Okay.
But I made I because the first pack I pulled like an Entei GX, and I think there's only, I want to say there's two in there, but I think I only have one. And that card's pretty good, but it was like the cool thing about cube building is you can like strategize, but kind of like fall into your own trap. Like, oh, I want to use this GX mon, okay? But in order to use this GX mon, it's like attacks costs like 2 fire energy, for example. This is gonna get really nerdy for some people. So like this Entei, for example, to do any of its attacks requires 2 fire energy. So that means at least 3 spots in your deck has to be designated
To use
to
this one card.
to this one card. And if you don't pull any other fire types, what's the point? So then you have to end up just taking the Entei GX solely for sniping it from like other people. Like there was I pulled the Magikarp Wailord GX card, the tag team.
Ooh.
Yeah, and the reason why it's in the cube is because it's a tag team that is never used because of it requiring, I think, 6 water energy to do its one attack, and then
Gosh.
then it's a GX move if you want it to do its full GX move, which is really good. I think it does like 150 damage to each benched mon on your opponent's side.
Oh wow, you could like sweep a match that way.
Yeah, but you need a total of 8 water energy.
Oh god.
Yeah, so you have to like have Wailord GX on the bench, and then you need cards to accelerate pulling energy.
Because otherwise your opponent just has turns and turns to stop
Yeah,
you.
yeah. So what I ended up using it for is just to tank. So like I'll throw it out front. I threw it out front to take all this damage because it has 300 HP. And when you're playing in cube format, you're using, Pokemon whose attacks only go up to 100 or like 150 damage. Yeah, and depending on how you have your deck set up. so it could take hits, a lot to allow me to um, set up your other mons. But Sarah, I think in the first game had this super clutch kill. Like I had Wailord on the bench, and then she had Virizion, which is this grass type mon, and Virizion has this one move where if you played a supporter card prior to attacking, it does it does like an extra like 50 or like 70 damage, or anyway it ends up doing like 150 damage. And she did that, and she Lysandra my Pokemon that I had out in the field at the
Ooh,
moment, and switched in my Wailord.
to snipe it.
But it had max health, the Wailord did, and I'm like, okay, that's fine, I have a switch in my hand. And she did 150 damage, and I double checked the weakness, and the weakness was grass, and it was times 2. So she ended up doing 300
Oko.
damage and OHKOing my Wailord and taking
Oh,
3 prize cards. It was such a clutch move. I'm like, I'm not even mad.
that
Like that
yeah,
was
that's a
that
good
yeah,
move.
yeah, yeah. I mean, she didn't realize that at the time, but
It
when I was
doesn't matter.
like,
You roll with it.
yeah, 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 and I was like, yo, that was good. And she's like, you killed me in 1 hit. And I'm like, what? She's like, what? I was like,
I
yo,
did.
yeah, 2 times weakness. And she's like, oh fuck. But I ended up winning overall, so still
So,
clutch kill though.
GG, bro.
Yeah, yeah, GG. But no, I still won because I'm epic. Anything? I see you put eBay Strikes Back. I'm excited for this story.
Oh, no, that was just my more eBay trouble.
Oh, with the phone. Oh,
Yeah.
that's funny.
No, nothing really else there. I did end up eventually getting a refund for those other items I'd talked about a couple episodes back.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah,
Oh,
it's one of those. I've just had a rash of unfortunate eBay experiences recently.
and I mean, I'm glad I haven't. I don't order off eBay a lot,
Yeah, I'm
but
just yeah.
um, uh, any update on the Murder Hornets?
I actually haven't seen anything for them in the news.
I
But
haven't.
basically, these they're Asian giant hornets, I think is what they're called, and they're just these big things with a venomous sting. And it's not one of those things that will kill you unless you're allergic to bees.
Uh,
But it can just like send your body into shock.
and a lot of pain and inflammation and bloatedness.
Yeah, and like it'll last for like a day after the fact.
Oh god, that just
Um,
sounds awful.
it does, but this is funny. So there is a Facebook post by the Shelby Township Police Department here in Michigan. Quote, using a SWAT team to set up a sting operation after being contacted about the 2-inch long honeybee killing hornets.
Oh my god, a SWAT team.
But then they had to clarify that they're not going to respond to hornet calls unless hornets are breaking the law by, quote, driving a stolen car 100 miles per hour down the freeway.
Oh my goodness. Where is Shelby County at? Or
I
township?
think it's near you.
Really? Interesting, because I have no
Take a
idea where
look.
that is.
Shelby. Let's look on a
I
map.
woke up today
Mm-hmm.
with the worst bedhead in my life. Like, it is like full Super Saiyan mode right now.
Super Saiyan.
It's and it doesn't like I have so much hair, but it's like all thin, so it doesn't get smushed back down. I mean, it does, but it just like fuck you, hair. Why are you like this right now?
Right, and you can't really get it cut. I've got to like take the clippers and like touch up my hair again already.
I
It's
ain't
just
cut. I ain't cutting mine. I have a job that allows me to not cut my hair.
I mean mine would too, but I just can't take it.
I'm in that phase of, when you have like short hair and then there's long hair, then there's that really awkward
In between.
puberty teenage phase your hair
Yeah.
has. Yeah, that's where my hair is right now. So,
What you're
I
saying is once we come out of quarantine here, you're going to look like us in high school.
oh yeah. Oh yeah, that's my goal.
All right.
Oh yeah. Um no, I'm just like I'm going to see how long I can get it to well, my goal, little backstory I guess is I've always wanted like the longer hair just
Like the
because
Jesus length.
I guess how long is Jesus hair? Is that like nipple length?
Let's ask him.
Jesus, how long was your hair? Um but I don't know about that. I wanted it to be long,
Maybe
And
shoulderish
yeah,
length.
and I oops. And I got it cut for the first. I've only gotten it cut once while I was down here. Adjusting mic mid session. I got it cut once while I was down here, and it was just a walk in. And she just kind of didn't cut it well. Like the initial haircut was not good. It was all right, and it grew out in,
Kind of
in,
weird.
in an incredibly weird way.
That's been my
And
experience with like every walk-in haircut. It's just they're just like there to do it quick, and it's
yeah,
not
yeah,
great.
yeah. And I didn't really gel with, the cut. And I was on the bus one day just like, why am I still cutting my hair? Like, why bother worrying about having to, establish relationship with a hairdresser again and going through all, ins and outs. And I just said, fuck it, I'm going to grow my hair out. And then this quarantine thing happened, and now I definitely don't want someone touching my hair
Now you
and
just have an
cutting it.
extra an excuse to just let it go.
Yep. So I've been wearing, it's gotten pretty long now, and I've been having to wear um, headbands a lot
Just to keep it up out of your face.
to, yeah, slick it back. And I honestly like how I look with it, back like that. So I'm excited for it to be longer because when it's longer,
It'll
it
just
ju-
sit there naturally.
yeah, just exactly, and I won't have to worry about how it looks or anything. I can just either throw it back or keep it down. And for me personally, for those of you who don't know, uh, my hair and that has been a huge insecurity for me. So I'm very excited for it to finally be fully.
Just something comfortable.
Yeah, so I'm looking forward to that. Uh, the other hand, I forgot that I made these questions to ask you, Joshua, and we're already 40 minutes in this.
That's all right. We'll rapid fire 5 questions. You get 60 seconds to answer each one.
Okay,
You want to
60 seconds.
alternate?
Yeah, let's alternate.
All right.
Let me. I kept coming up with more. So how many questions? 5.
You said 5, so I've got 5.
Okay, let me. I have a list because I kept thinking of really good ones. Um, okay, I'll just go with it. I'll ask first. I'll start it light. Favorite hand soap.
Favorite hand soap?
Yep, I need brand and scent.
Um, unscented, generic, non-antibacterial hand soap.
Okay, like Dial. Does Dial do that?
I think so. Like we usually end up with like that or a Meyer brand, but just whatever's there that doesn't have like an offensive or floral scent, and I generally avoid antibacterial
Offensive.
hand. Some just any
I just
bathroom products are just scented in a way that is
it's aggressive.
overpowering.
Yeah, Bath and Body looking at you.
Yeah.
Or yeah, no. Though, in Bath and Body's defense, I think it's Bath and Body. That's the big lotion hand soap place, right? Bath and Body Works.
I think so, yeah.
Um, I never go into your store because I get an immediate headache because of the
The
overwhelming
scents.
scents. But they have the one hand soap. It's their stress relief aromatherapy hand soap. That is the only hand soap that has not caused my skin to be red with irritation or to dry out. Like my hands, Joshua, you know how they used to look.
Yeah,
Um,
just like a
like
crackly old
yeah,
zombie hand.
they look like a 20-year-old's hands right now.
Whoa.
Yeah, from this hand soap. So I won't shit on Bath and Body, but it's the only hand soap that I can get. So we buy 5 whenever
Whenever you're
we're in the mall.
good
And
deal.
yeah, but yeah, for people with sensitive skin, aromatherapy, Bath and Body. All right, throw me a question.
All right, this one's pretty good, pretty simple.
All right.
Comes to ice cream, Frosties, chocolate or vanilla.
Uh,
I said this was simple.
I love both.
You can't love both. I mean, you
Um,
can, but you have to love one more than the other. You have to have
I
a favorite.
I know what one you like, and I'm going to have to choose chocolate
Why would you betray me like this?
because I like to dip my fries in the frosty, and it
It's
tastes better with
still
the
such a
chocolate.
weird thing. Like, I get
It
it, but it's still weird.
it is very weird, and I jokingly tried it, and
And then you were sucked in.
yeah, because I
That's
was
how they
making
get
fun of.
you.
Yeah, I know. I was making fun of it. I'm like, Sarah, this is stupid. And I tried it, and I didn't admit to her that it was good. I'm just like, oh shit, she's right, and I had to
It's
go
your
with it.
dirty secret.
But if I were to just eat Frosties, vanilla's pretty good too. I love vanilla over chocolate, but from Wendy's though, I have to go.
Go chocolate.
I have to go chocolate. Um, do you like Sam?
Yes. I I'm emotionally attached to the dog, and I love the little bastard. He's just very frustrating some days.
That I have some other ones, but I had to ask that one because I thought of that while I was taking a shit, and I thought it was pretty funny.
All right. So we know your dream job at this point is to produce content.
Yes.
In a fictional fantasy world
Okay.
where all of the jobs that exist are not ones that exist in our world, what's your ideal fantasy job? Are you a bard?
Oh, like fantasy.
Fantasy. Well, I mean, it could be any fantasy.
Okay.
Are you a vampire hunter?
Oh, okay. Oh, this is a good one. In a fictional world, I would honestly probably, I want to say I would be like, I would either be something that either like a bounty hunter that travels in like small groups or by themselves where they just kind of go where they please,
Mm-hmm.
or I would be a bard. But I don't find myself like I would, in all honesty, if it was me in a fictional setting,
I said your dream job, not what you would probably be.
dream job. Oh God, this is hard. Dream job.
Dragon Slayer?
Dragon Slayer. God, I don't want to kill dragons. They're epic.
Dragon Lair?
A dragon lair. Fuck the dragons.
That's right.
Um. Oh man, I really. I'm trying to think of all the games I've played.
Do you want to be a priest for Cthulhu?
That would be weird. That would be pretty trippy though, being in a world with Cthulhu.
Wouldn't that?
Yeah. I don't, I would say it would probably end up being probably like a worker on the Citadel in Mass Effect. Maybe owning my own store or something there.
Okay.
Like a coffee shop on the Citadel. Just a nice like chill cozy place. I would love I would really like that because of with my current mindset, I feel like I constantly have to be creating and doing something new, and I would love that mindset of okay, I just make coffee for people and just make sure they're like chill and cool, and then I leave, and then you know.
And that's just your day, nice and easy.
Plus, I would be on the fucking Citadel,
And you'd get to see all of the fun races come in and go.
and that would be so cool. I would say that would probably be a dream job. Would be that. I mean, performing live somewhere, like as a really talented musician, would be epic. That'd be so cool. It'd be one of those two. I can't decide. And that's more than 60 seconds. I would have to say the coffee shop one is more realistic.
Okay.
In that sense. Let me throw up mine. What is, and you don't have to answer this, but if you want to, you can. What is your biggest regret?
My biggest regret would be kind of a couple things. So on a more general scale, I regret not doing more stuff as I was growing up, just to socialize a little bit more, become more comfortable in social situations, which is it's something I've grown into now, but that took me well into adulthood.
Oh, totally I totally agree with that. If I would have been more, like you said, more social in college or when I was younger, I would not fear going to social gatherings or hanging out with new people and that.
Right. Any
Totally.
sort of situation with new things.
Yeah. No, I totally get that.
And then maybe aside from that, on a more specific scale, I would say I regret not taking better mental care of myself, especially in high school and in college, just because that ended up with me basically dropping out of college at the time.
Uh-huh.
But I'm I'm good with where I ended up as a result anyway, so it's not something I dwell on.
No, definitely. I respect that. No, that's for sure. Realizing what you're capable of for sure and acknowledging it.
Mm-hmm.
And imagine what, like, I mean, but like, what kid at that age, though, is going to realize they have mental issues and, you know,
Right.
especially with, I'm just going to finish this real quick, then you can
Mhm.
continue. Just with, especially coming from the backgrounds we came from, where it wasn't,
Emotions being out in the open wasn't
a thing
commonplace.
yeah, or it was a lot of like you can talk to me about stuff and you're like, yeah, but you wouldn't, I know what you would reply with, is not helpful.
Well, and
Or
also the leading by example. It's one thing to say to your kid, it's okay to feel these things and to cry, but then to never show that yourself
yeah.
does not reinforce that at all.
And that is I think that's a hard thing for parents and especially men to do, is to be emotional, because again it's now distilled as a sign of weakness, and you don't want to like cry in front of your child or whatever. Like, all I remember, actually I don't really want to talk about it publicly, so
That's
I
all right.
won't.
But no,
But,
I understand what you mean there, and that not only would it maybe be a sign of weakness, but also you maybe want to protect your kid and not expose them to, whatever the situation is. But it's hard to say as somebody who's not a parent.
I know. And I was Sarah and I were watching, God, what were we watching? We were watching something where a parent, we were recording a let's play, and there's a scene where this parent has to comfort a child whose parrot just, whose parrot
Passed.
died. And being in that moment as a parent and having to think of something to say to your child who is going to carry that with them for the rest of their life, like that responsibility. um I know this isn't tied to emotion as much, but that like responsibility and gravity of being,
The person to essentially deliver that news.
yeah, and to say something again that this child is going to like live their life by, or at least some part for the rest of their life. That is so scary to, uh, oh my God. If I, if Sarah and I got married and we decided to have, kids, or she got pregnant or whatever, and she told me, I think that my first feeling would be fear. Like, oh my God. Like, what? Oh my God.
How am I going to take care of this thing?
I just like, oh my God. And then if the child ended up being a woman, I mean, or well, a girl at the time, um, well, first
A
off,
female.
if I had a child and they were born, as, biologically as a male or a female, I would do my absolute best as a parent to let them associate with what gender they want to be. And that's another tricky thing is, uh, and this is going to get into a whole can of worms, but um, now with people finally being able to say that they're gender neutral, and I'm forgetting the word right now. Uh,
I'm not sure which one you're thinking of.
it's when they go by pronouns they or them. It's
Oh,
oh my gosh, this isn't doing me a good job at being an advocate, but uh, what is it called? Anyway, uh, basically gender neutral, like
non-binary.
non-binary. Thank you. Um, you and society's going to depict what they're supposed to be, an individual. So you have to like fight that as a parent to allow their child to decide, who they are, and then you have to like,
And at the same time tempering that with the social expectation of their peers so that they're
yeah,
not complete outcasts.
yeah, and then dealing with other family members. Like there's definitely certain members on both Sarah and my side where they won't acknowledge that or think it's goofy, and or it's too liberal or something like that. And it's just it's a scary thing, and I'm glad I'm not a parent right now, but if you are, I kudos to you if you're doing a good job. So
And since I knew you were going to have all of your questions be deep and dark things, mine are all contrarily fun ones.
oh
Um,
uh
this is going to go a little bit back towards our earlier conversation. As a means of transportation, would you ever drive a moped, electric bike, scooter, skateboard?
if I have to, like, I have to choose one of those.
No, you don't have to. Would you ever if that was like the quickest way to get to work?
And you said it was a moped,
It could be, yeah, any sort of electric anything. It could just be a little scooter, or they even have like those electric skateboards.
I would use it if it was the quickest means.
Okay.
I would I would definitely, it would also give me something to do, something to learn, but if I mean I wouldn't get one if I already had a bike, which I do. It's just not with me right now.
I was just curious because you have this how do I want to put it? I don't think you would ever get on a motorcycle.
Oh no, I would never get on a motorcycle. I would get on like an electric skateboard, or possibly I wouldn't drive. See now, in I guess in a bicycle, if it was an electric bicycle, uh, I would take that. I wouldn't take the moped because mopeds, I don't think you have to stay on the road.
I
And
think it depends on the place, but yeah,
okay, but with the bicycle
there's usually a
or the
bicycle
skateboard,
lane.
yeah, there's bicycle lanes and paths down here that are protected, or alternate like nature paths you can take.
So basically,
Um,
as long as you're not just thrown into the heat of traffic.
Traffic, yeah, totally naked to whatever, I would do it. But um, my cousin down here used to ride a moped around here, which I think is just kind of nuts because of how downtown Ann Arbor is laid out. It's so
Just
the
not
blocks.
friendly for that.
Well, it's like the blocks are so like sharp and twisty and like different, so it's never the same thing. So you can't just guess what's going to happen, or assume like traffic will be this way, and nah,
It's nice to have that safety of a giant steel box around you.
yeah. Um, but no, I would definitely, again, if it was an electric bike or a skateboard, and I could go down a protected path or like a nature path or something away from traffic.
All right, hit me with that next one.
Um, I ooh, I don't want to know how dark and sad I want to get. I have a lot because I didn't want to be too dark and sad because I knew I was going to be dark and sad. And I
I'm glad we're on the same page.
um oh here how about this one because I've had this come up a lot. So I've the reason I first started YouTube was one, a creative outlet, and two, I wanted it to kind of be a recorded history of my life. Like people do journals and that. Um, I like to do videos in that because one, they're like more set in stone. You can't interpret them in multiple different ways, like you can with writing. What you see is mostly like what you're getting. And I started watching a series from like 3 years ago that I recorded, and it's been like kind of hit or miss. So my question is, how will slash would you feel watching past episodes now and when you're older?
Watching past episodes right now would be an embarrassing experience.
For you, you think?
I think so.
Why is that?
Because like you said, some of those are 3 years or more old,
Yep.
and we're people, we change, and I think me now is just a little bit more mature than I would have been then, and I think a lot of that embarrassment would stem from just being like, oh gosh, why would you say that? Why would you do that?
Right. Right.
But looking back on it as somebody 10 or 15 years down the road, I think it would definitely just be more of a fun nostalgic thing of you know you and your best friend hanging out and having a good time,
Right. And it's like completely recorded, so you capture like
all of those
essentially,
little moments.
yeah, like what I haven't done it yet, but the playthrough I was rewatching was because I've been pretty big into the Resident Evil series, as and any reoccurring listeners. So I was rewatching the Resident Evil 7 playthrough that Dylan and I did, and I only watched like maybe like 6 or 7 episodes. But there's some episodes of series, especially towards like the latter end of what we recorded prior to the flood of 2019,
The Great Flood.
the Great Flood.
Noah's Ark was there and everything.
Oh yeah, I saw him. I waved, and then I said, "Get off my lawn." Uh, there's some series like the Pokemon Let's Go Eevee, and what's the other one? I think it might be the Fable series, maybe. Um, that we did that just our awareness of what we were doing was is more, it's apparent, like, oh, we're not comedians, so we shouldn't try to be funny. We should just be ourselves. And it was,
Instead of creating a personality for
yeah.
the clicks.
So it just, so like, especially, and I know it's in that Let's Go Eevee, because I think that's like our best shit we've done. Is just like, it's literally what Joshua and I are like if we're just sitting next to each other and just playing a game. And especially it was co-op too. That's right.
That was fun.
Yeah, yeah. So, and we never finished it, unfortunately, but I remember I can't wait to watch that in a couple of years and be like, okay,
That was good.
that was good. And then there's stuff now that I can't wait to watch in the future, just because of how like mature and chill, and I guess
Kind
again,
of grown to be.
aware, yeah, we've gotten. But I am curious to listen to these podcasts when we're 50.
Oh,
And
gosh.
reliving the quarantine again.
Man, these podcasts from this time period would be, just because of the quarantine situation.
It's
It'd
like,
be a trip to listen back to.
I know it's going to be, I don't even know what that feeling's going to be like, just one day just deciding to open YouTube when I'm like 55 and listening to an episode that's like, 30 years old. Like, just imagine, like, where are you gonna be at? What are you gonna do? Or
Who knows?
God.
That's so long from now.
Oh my God! Or to get like really dark for a hot minute, like whoever dies first,
That would be a sad day.
and then oh yeah, it'd be so sad. And then like, but having everything recorded though, and being able for whoever
Would
is still
definitely be
alive
a
to,
bittersweet thing.
So, yeah, I was thinking about that when I was trying to go to bed last night, because that's
Isn't that
usually
the
when I do
best?
all my thinking. Yeah, when you're just like, huh, what will I be like when, in 50 years or whatever. Yeah, but your question now.
Oh yeah, you've been playing a little bit of Elder Scrolls recently.
Yes,
You
I
you
have.
take a Facebook quiz. What Elder Scrolls race are you?
Probably a dark elf, because they look pissed all the time. I feel like that's what I would get, or based off looks, it would be a dark elf, or I think a Khajiit probably.
Khajiit. I kind of expected the Khajiit to be thrown in there.
That I would definitely, if I took a quiz, I would expect a dark elf, but end up getting a Khajiit, because playing elsewhere right now, just how random and off the walls the Khajiit are.
Oh yeah, they are. They're
I'm like,
spastic.
oh yeah, I'm just like, that's me. I'd be doing fucking skooma in some sort of skooma den. What race do you think you would be?
Man, I don't know.
I think you would be I think you'd be a Breton. I think they're
A
like the
Breton?
Imperials. Yeah.
Is it just because I'm blonde and white?
you're just a basic B, man?
I knew it. I knew it. So speaking of being a basic B, you got me started on this LaCroix thing, and now I'm just like, oh man, I'm like, God, I'm such a white basic bitch.
But isn't it so good though?
Oh, it is so good. I am this close to just like buying a Soda Stream.
I am too.
You can get them for like $90.
And it's just so okay. I have to talk to you about this now. So, when was the first time you had a sparkling water? Was it like after I brought it up, or you were just like interested in it, or because I talked about it so much? Or
I've
we
had
would
a
be
couple
playing
of
games?
unflavored sparkling waters before,
Uh-huh.
and they're all right. But it was you had mentioned you had a couple of those flavors at one point, like the mango one or whatever, and I was like, well, I could use something different to drink other than water and the occasional beer. So let's give this a try. And I really love citrus flavors in anything. So I've been buying the cases of lemon, and it's just so refreshing to have that bubbly, sparkly.
Right?
Uh,
Right?
and after having been drinking them, I went and I tried to drink a summer shandy beer, and it was just sickeningly sweet. I could not finish it.
Oh my God. Yeah. No, that's exactly. No, that is how my taste has turned. Is I can't drink fruity beers anymore now because it's like if I'm gonna drink something that's carbonated and refreshing, I'm just gonna drink
A sparkling water with a
a
little bit of
spark.
flavor in it.
Yeah, and because it's like it does have that same effect having a beer
It does. All you're after is
has.
that refreshing CO2 bubble.
Yeah, and have you tried the apple ginger from the Aha brand?
I have not.
If you like, do you like apple stuff? I don't remember.
For the most part, yeah, I don't crave it like I do
Go out of your way.
citrus.
Yeah.
Right.
Um, I would recommend. I don't want you to buy a whole case and not like it. When I come down,
Up.
this, uh, oh yeah,
I know it's so
lives.
weird going your whole life.
Yes.
Basically, everywhere you go is down. So you're like, I'm
Yep.
going down there.
Yep.
Yeah.
When I come back up, um, it'll probably be. I wanted it to be earlier, and okay, this is completely backwoods life stuff right now. June 19th is the first day of my vacation, but if Sarah's work still decides to open, she might have to work that Friday. I'm hoping she doesn't, or she works a morning shift because we were going to drive up that day. I wanted to drive up as early as possible because my family should already be in the UP. So we were going to stay the night at my family's house and then hang out with you guys.
Oh, that would be fun.
That is our main goal to do. So then, if that happens, I will bring one up for you to try.
All right.
A single can.
A single can.
So you don't have to buy. Well, I'll bring, obviously. I'll have cases with me, but I will bring up at least a can for you to try, so you don't buy a case and not like it, even though it's like $3 or what have you.
I think they're like $5 for a case.
Oh, the Aha one is it doesn't come with 12 like LaCroix.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it comes in 8, so it's like just a regular like pop thing.
But yeah, I was thinking about that at like, like $5 for a case of 12 or whatever. I could just like buy a Soda Stream and that pays for itself in like a few months.
Oh yeah, I know. I totally want a Soda Stream. No, I'm glad you're on this kick too, because it's so. Yeah, people shit on sparkling water, but God, once you start it and you find a flavor, you're just addicted.
It's like that time you put the fries in the Frosty as a joke, and then you were like, "Oh no!"
Oh, you're like, oh shit, I gotta
I've
follow
been
through with
hooked.
this now. Yeah, God, I can't say this out loud. No, for sure.
All right, hit me with that next question.
Okay. How about we'll end it on kind of a lighthearted one, because a couple of these I think might be considered redundant. What's a life goal of yours that you haven't achieved?
A life goal that I haven't achieved. I'd really like to have a space to just work on a project car on occasion.
Like your shed out back.
Yeah, like it'd be really nice to just have, to put down concrete back in there. And if I was, feeling real baller and wanted to spend a couple $1,000s, get like a car lift.
And oh, that would be cool.
Right. And I just want to, like, there are some couple little sports cars that would be fun. They're a little older to just kind of restore, or a lot of thing that seems to be really big right now is people are doing electric conversions on some older vehicles.
Oh, that's interesting.
Which would be really fun in like a small sports car. I would shoot towards like those first generation Mazda Miatas. They're just little tiny things with the pop-up headlights.
Uh-huh.
Those, and then like the late 80s, their Toyota released an MR2, and they just look a bit. They just look like they came out of the 80s. I don't know. They're cool looking.
That is that's pretty cool though. having like just your own little, yeah, no, I get your own little space to
Yeah.
do stuff.
Yeah.
I get that. I want like my own office, and where with a door that I can just shut
Shut.
and no one
And maybe a lock on there.
yeah, maybe a lock
And an
on it,
armed
yes.
guard.
Yes, and maybe a canine, and then a trap they have to disarm in 30 seconds, or else everything blows up.
Including you inside.
Yes, including that, so they'll never get anything. No, I get that. I want that. That would be for you and for me, I guess. That would be so cool. Oh, speaking of car stuff, oh, I can't believe I didn't mention this at the beginning. So Thursday we're going shopping. We get in the car. Sarah's car does not start.
Ooh.
And I'm just thinking, really? Like, right now? And I knew it was the battery immediately. I'm like, okay, battery issues. Do I go and call AAA? And last time I used AAA down here was when my car went to shit. And it took 2 hours for a tow truck driver to show up.
Which is completely useless at that point.
Yes, and then I had to do all sorts of stuff. Oh, is that what that car looks like? That looks cool. That
Yeah,
looks
this
like the
is
car
like-
from Back to the Future.
Right. It's just got that really cool looking, just style. I think that's like an 88 is what it is.
What is it, a Mazda what?
This one's a Toyota
Oh,
MR2.
Toy. Did you say Mazda, or did I just hear that?
No, I did mention the Mazda Miata as well.
Okay. That's really cool. That would be cool to deck out. Remember when we worked on my car and it took a whole day?
Yeah, that was a miserable experience.
That was awful. I
For the
felt so bad.
listeners, we were replacing the water pump on his car, and it has a timing belt, so you have to, disassemble the whole side, and you have to reset the timing. And we didn't have all the proper tools, so it was a fun like 9 hours.
Oh god, it was way more than that. It was
Oh,
like
we
12
ended
or
up coming back
13.
the next day too, briefly,
Yeah.
didn't we?
It was
Well,
awful.
I try to just purge that from my memory.
I just want it known I didn't do much when I was there.
That's fine.
Joshua did most of the work. So I was standing there keeping him company, and not to credit my own ability to stand there and keep company, but it is exhausting to. That car's cool. I like the
That's the
lights that
Miata.
pop up. That one looks
Yeah.
sick. Um,
The MR2 has the pop-up headlights too.
oh, that's rad. Yeah, no, that was an exhausting couple days, and yeah, no, it was exhausting. Other news. Going back to
Yeah, your
my-
battery
the
died.
battery thing. So we sat there in the car, and I was like kind of thinking what to do, and Sarah's like, should I call Kayla? And Kayla's her best friend down here, and I'm like, and she lives in Saline, which is like 10, 15 minutes away, and I'm like, it'd probably be faster if you called Kayla. And Kayla comes, so if you're listening, Kayla, thank you. And they both had the weirdest battery setups. Sarah's negative end of her battery went way under her dash and had a alternate like grounding port or whatever on the side of her car right above her tire that I had to connect it to.
Really?
Yeah, and Kayla's car is this really weird, like, it's not a Bug, but it almost looks like a cross between a Bug and a tiny, like, Volkswagen.
Oh, so it could be
And-
like an Audi A4 or
Yeah.
something.
And the battery had the negative end and the positive wires, like, connecting to the positive side. So the negative part of the battery that you connect to didn't have, like, the protected cable that kind of signals, like, put the
The jumper
freaking-
here.
the jumper cables here, and I set it up where I thought it was, and I'm like, okay, don't start your car yet because I've never seen a battery like this. So I ended up having to, I double checked with both of their manuals, and I was right where to put
Nice.
everything, which was nice. But I wanted to be doubly sure because I did not want to mess anything up.
Right.
But we ended up getting her car started, and she ended up going to O'Reilly because Advanced Auto Parts, even though in Big Rapids they did this, would not install the battery for her. And I didn't, that wasn't cool because I don't have all the tools to do that, and I really didn't want to do that.
No, and if you can take it someplace that is going to do it.
Yeah, and so O'Reilly would do it, but they wouldn't do it in the rain, and it was pouring like this.
Oh,
The past 3 days, it has been pouring nonstop, and uh, so she had to wait, in the car for the rain to stop so he could come out. And it was like apparently this old guy who was just slow as shit. And I was dropped off at Meijer to go full on grocery shopping by myself, which I don't mind going to Meijer to get a couple things by myself. But to go at this time when times are like this during a pandemic and to go and grocery shop at a Meijer where I've yet to learn where everything is so overwhelming. And I'm just like, oh my God, Sarah, just please show up so you can help me.
right. It just makes for a stressful
I,
day.
I ended up getting mostly everything because how our Meijer is set up really weird. It's like very, very weird. And like some of it makes sense, some of it doesn't. But all the groceries are literally jam packed onto to one side, done in a straight line. It's not like set up in a nice spread out spot, kind of like the Big Rapids Meijer,
Mm-hmm.
where you got like the deli and that and the bakery on like these different sides, so you know where it's at. They're all like jammed in the same spot all together. And and like the deli in that is in the way back corner. And I ended up getting most of it done. She called me and told me she was at Maya when I was in the alcohol section. So that was when most of the stuff was done. But no, it was definitely it was a stressful a trip that was supposed to be like 2 hours turned into like 5.
The whole day.
Oh yeah, and then like now, like the guidelines for down here are when you come back from grocery shopping to wipe everything down, and then you have to then we take a shower afterwards. So it's a whole process now getting groceries,
Man.
and it's just like you go there, you have to get everything, you wait in line. It's a whole hot mess, and it makes you wonder how long it's going to
be like this.
be like this, having to do this every. That's why we try to wait as long as we can. But now they finally have they have arrows in the aisles directing where traffic should go. Do people follow those?
No.
But now they're there. They weren't last time, so that's pretty neat.
Do you remember when we had to change, going back to the cars, the battery on your car?
Yeah, wasn't it like jammed in the back or something?
No, it was in the goddamn wheel well. We had to jack up the front of the car and pull off the tire, and it was above the tire.
Yeah.
There was no way to access it from the above. It was the weirdest thing.
Yeah, I don't know what it is with
Thanks,
me.
Dodge.
Yeah, I've just had weird cars that have weird stuff, and then it just so happened that Sarah has the same freaking thing. But finishing up that story real quick, battery ended up being $200 because her car does the automatic turn off.
Oh, at stoplights.
Yeah, at stoplights and that. And because of that, she needs a specific battery, and it was $200. But it was the first big like thing, like life event that we had that we didn't call on a parent or anything for help. We all did it,
That's always satisfying.
kind of ourselves, and it was just like, oh yeah, we got this. So it was a cool bonding moment out of that. So it was a positive thing, but still a pain in the ass when it happened.
Yes. All right. No. So on to my last question.
Final question, hit me.
You have a lot of favorite movies, and usually it's because they're technically good or Leonardo DiCaprio's in them.
For the most part.
What is your favorite fun movie?
My favorite fun movie?
Yeah. A movie that's fun. Lighthearted.
That I would just lighthearted that I just throw on and watch?
You're having a bad day. What do you watch?
Since I'm timed, technically, uh, I would say the first thing I would watch would be The Room.
Okay.
Um, I would, I can watch that and I would always laugh. I will always laugh at that movie. There's just so many memories in that tied to that movie too, and so
Hmm.
many inside jokes. Um, it would definitely be my lighthearted one to go to. I honestly can't think of any.
Any
Were you
other
like,
ones?
yeah, were you like looking for like an action comedy or something like that, like just in the background, or what?
No,
Would
not.
you think I was gonna pick?
I didn't know because anytime you mention a movie you really like, it's usually a serious movie.
Oh yeah, oh no, for sure. Yeah, it would have to be The Room. Even though Tommy Wiseau says it's a dark comedy,
Yeah,
no,
it's
it's
no.
not. It's just a comedy.
Sorry, sorry, Tommy.
It's a big old comedy. No, that would be that if I
I
wanted to watch.
forgot that movie existed.
Oh yeah, no, it would be that movie or
You said The Room, and I'm like, I'm imagining the other movie called The Room, and I'm like, what?
oh, that one's just called Room. The one where
Okay.
they're trapped in a room. Yeah, that
Yeah,
one's actually dark and upsetting.
exactly.
Um, yeah, I would say The Room. If I didn't have access to The Room, it'd probably be True Romance, which is not a Tarantino film. I think it's Oliver. I don't want to say it's Oliver Stone who directed it, but Tarantino wrote it, and that is a phenomenal movie. Have you seen True Romance?
I've not.
You would dig that movie so hard. It is very
Romantic
good.
crime film
True Romance. It's
directed by Tony Scott.
who is it?
Tony Scott.
Tony Scott? No, I've never heard of him. Who? Yeah. Um,
Hans Zimmer did the music.
oh yeah, and there are some excellent, excellent cameos in that movie. Excellent cameos. Also, Joshua, going off that, the latest episode of Fan Friday, I would highly recommend watching the first 10 minutes
Okay.
that
Is
I
that the
posted.
Assassin's Creed one?
Yeah, the
Okay.
Assassins. I would highly I think it's like 10, 15, I want to say. There's a bit that Sarah says something and I made a bit out of it and it lasts like the whole video, but the first like 10, 15 minutes I think is like where it like truly shines.
I will go watch that now.
I believe that's I believe it's in the first. It was pretty funny, but yeah. Thank you, Joshua, for playing that supposedly quick fire questions with me,
Yeah.
but it ended
You
up
you
just
took
being.
way more than 60 seconds to answer all of those.
I know it's what I do. I can't help it. Anyway, thank you all for listening, for watching. Joshua, any closing thoughts?
I have no thoughts.
All right. Well, with that, everyone, thank you for listening to this episode of The Side Table. Stay safe, stay healthy, and stay inside,
Please.
please. Yeah, social distancing. I miss pizza. I fucking hate cooking now. I'm so over cooking.
We have ended up with so many extra dishes just because we're cooking every single
day.
meal.
Yep. I'm so sick of it. I've emptied, the dishwasher so many times. I'm thankful I have one.
Right?
I am done with cooking. I was excited when I moved in, it was just me and Sarah and I could make whatever I wanted and I started doing that, but then I had to do it for like the past 60, 70 days every day
For every meal.
for every meal and I am done. I am done. I am over it.